For well over a century, the hierarchy of global power was dictated by one physical asset: crude oil. This was the era of the petrostate. By controlling physical reserves and maritime choke points, a handful of nations could influence the economic survival of the rest of the world simply by managing the volume of energy they released. But this chart shows a massive reallocation of global capital, draining the wellheads of their influence. Clean energy investment has surged to $2.2 trillion, nearly double the $1.2 trillion allocated to the extraction and refining of fossil fuels. This shift in capital is the first indicator of a structural change. As money leaves the oil fields, the control of electrons is becoming a central pillar of geopolitical influence. Our current energy system relies on setting millions of tiny fires. We burn fuel in billions of individual engines and furnaces to create the motion and heat required to run a modern economy. Electrification changes the physics of that exchange. Because technologies like electric motors and heat pump move energy rather than creating it through combustion, they can operate at 300 to 400% efficiency compared to gas-fired equivalents. This creates a clear economic divergence. Fossil fuel extraction is structurally inflationary. It gets more expensive as reserves are depleted. In contrast, clean technology is a manufactured asset. Its costs decline as production scales up. As the physical and economic returns of electrification continue to outperform combustion, the strategic leverage once held by oil-rich states is beginning to erode. In this landscape, a new category of influence is emerging: the electrostate. These are nations that derive their power not from the geography of their oil fields, but from their control of the high-tech supply chains and grid infrastructure of a decarbonized world. The nature of energy security is shifting. While traditional predicts focused on the physical volume of oil moving through maritime straits, clean energy risks are concentrated in the manufacturing value chain. The foundation of this new leverage is the mining and refining of critical minerals. Elements like lithium, cobalt, and rare earths are now the essential materials for building an electrified economy. Because the refining capacity for these minerals is concentrated in a few specific nations, they have gained a form of geopolitical leverage that oil exporters once enjoyed. Beyond the raw materials, there is the second tier of the chain: the advanced manufacturing of critical technology. Dominating the production of battery modules and solar panels is now a core requirement for any nation seeking to project industrial power. To be a superpower in the 21st century, a nation must do more than just generate power. It must dominate the entire supply chain required to build the world it runs on. For an electrostate, national security is no longer about securing a distant oceanic strait. The primary vulnerability has moved inward to the fragility of the domestic power grid. As the grid becomes a digitized, interconnected network, it creates massive new targets for cyber warfare, where a digital intrusion can cause as much damage as a physical blockade. This makes advanced hardware a strategic necessity. Modern grids rely on sophisticated power semiconductors to manage high-voltage electricity, placing high-tech fabrication plants at the center of energy security. There is also a new systemic threat: the power load required by digital infrastructure. The rapid expansion of artificial intelligence data centers is introducing concentrated demand shocks that global grids were never built to handle. These hyperscale facilities run 24/7, reversing a decades-long trend of flat electricity demand and pushing local utilities to their physical limits. Transitioning to an electrified world does not end the competition for energy security. It simply moves the battlefield from the ocean to the motherboard. This transition will take decades. The global economy is currently in a phase where the old geopolitics of oil and the new geopolitics of electricity are colliding. During this overlap, traditional oil-producing states are likely to maximize their current production and political leverage before global demand reaches a permanent decline. But there is a wild card in this transition, a process called energy leapfrogging. Emerging economies can bypass the historical stages of fossil fuel development entirely. By building decentralized, clean grids from the start, they are establishing industrial capacity without becoming dependent on imported oil or gas. This allows these nations to grow their economies using local renewable resources, significantly reducing their exposure to the price volatility of global commodity markets. Modern energy security is no longer about hoarding millions of barrels of a physical resource in a strategic national reserve. Security now means securing mineral supply chains, leading in clean tech manufacturing, and building a digitized grid that can withstand both physical and cyber shocks. For a century, world power was defined by the movement of liquid molecules, but over the course of the next 50 years, that power will be determined by the management of subatomic electrons.